Welcome to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, the Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by... Oh, yeah, the guy on mute. That's right, because you were talking again during the intro.
I didn't say a word during the intro, so let's try this again. It's on me, Rob, who was quiet as a mouse, but Drew likes to mute me.
Yeah, a very loud squeaky mouse that's on a creaky floor.
It was the night before Christmas.
And all through the house, not a creature
Rob
was
was making the right picks,
except for Rob.
Drew was eating some crappy food.
Oh, I'm going to be eating some crappy food today, guys. So, yeah, we're going to get into some Giants news here, but we might as well at least let people know in the meantime, if they didn't listen to the last episode we recorded here, that I did lose this week. Rob and I have been switching back and forth who wins, who loses. And, yeah, it was my turn, apparently, I guess, the way we've been going things. So,
yeah,
I have to eat the durian.
It's
now,
Drew win some, lose some, and let's pick not so bad foods this way if I lose next week.
It's your week based on everything here. So, but yeah, so for those who are unaware of what durian is, okay, I got literally Google here. I put durian fruit, and the first question is, what does durian smell like? This is right from Google, by the way. This is not from me. The smell is very strong and has been described as a combination of sulfur, sewage, fruit, honey, and roasted and rotting onions.
So it smells like a frat house after a big party when they all had pork roll, egg, and cheese sandwiches about 2 hours later. Gotcha.
Let me put it this way to how bad this thing smells. And I already told Rob this, but I'll share you guys the stories with you here. So I already know about this fruit because of my time that I spent in Singapore there when I visited there a few years ago. And it's apparently a delicacy in that part of Asia overall, whether it's Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, places like that. So I got the freeze-dried one because you cannot get the fruit here. You cannot get it here at all. So I went ahead and got it delivered by Amazon. They had the freeze-dried version because Amazon has everything, literally, including durian, apparently. When it came in, my wife opened it up to show her mother and father-in-law, her mother and father, my mother and father-in-law, what the smell was of this. And let me put it this way. They put it in a Ziploc bag to stop the smell from expanding to the rest of the house. That's how bad it is.
Is it working?
It does until you open it up. So I literally have a thing here also of chocolate milk, by the way, just in case. Because yeah, this is going to be nasty, guys. This is not going to be pleasant here. Anyway, while I'm opening this up, so yeah, today we're going to be going over with you guys all the. I got the other half's not open yet. Oh my god, the smell! Oh my god. We're going to be going over.
If a filet mignon or a ribeye smell like straight up diarrhea and pork roll farts, I don't know if I could eat it.
Oh my god, like this is, yeah, if you can see what it looks like inside. So yeah, today we're going to go over with you guys, but I try not to throw up here. Oh my god, this is like a nugget of it. We're going to go over with you guys all the latest Giants news, because there is some news that's going over. We are going to talk about Pizzagate. Oh yes, pizza in the morning, pizza in the evening, pizza at supper time with DeVito, because
with the sauce.
We didn't really want to talk about it until all the information came out, because a lot of people are blasting DeVito, and I felt like we had to hear the whole story before we went on that kind of rampage about it, because it's not fair until you have all the info. So I think we have as much info as we're going to get in this. So we're going to go ahead and talk about that. Not that I'm saying we have all the info, guys, but we have as much info as we're going to probably get in this. It's a done story now. So, all righty. While we talk about that, it's time to go ahead and me to have my first piece of durian here. Rob, you got the notes up. You want to discuss the first topic?
Oh, yeah. So the Giants use Gary Brightwell and Matt Peart returned from the injury reserve. York is expected to be elevated from the practice squad. You're right. It's like
honestly, the flavor is not as bad as the smell. The flavor has just got a little bit of sweetness to it. No. Oh my God. You know what? The rotting onion thing is a very good way of putting it. I didn't even think about it that way. I always said it smells like a corpse, and it really smells nasty. But
a rotting onion.
It's like sweet rotting onion. Very nutritious, apparently, though. So whatever. Anyway,
it's good for you,
as you were saying.
Yeah.
I think you already. Hold on. You went over Gary Brightwell and Matt Peart. I heard you say that.
Yes.
So they are designated to return, which means they will be able to play at some point this year. They are expected back in practice. No guarantee they'll be back this week. That means, obviously, we'll have to keep an eye and see. But the fact that they're designated to return means at some point this season, we expect to see them. Because if you didn't pick these people off of the IR by now, they'd be on for the rest of the year.
Correct.
I dropped my piece of durian here.
You better pick it up. Get the Famunda cheese. You go with that rotten onion.
For the record, it's gluten-free, no sugar added, and no preservatives.
Ooh.
Premium quality, 100% real fruit. This is actually imported from Thailand, by the way, guys. You can see all the Thai writing on it and stuff like that.
Say Thai fighting over there. Be Thai fighting your gut later. Throwing elbows and knees.
Freeze-dried durian.
So York's expected to be elevated from the practice squad to be our kicker as Bullock.
You call it Bullock?
I said it. I was like, wow. Deals with a hamstring issue.
How many kickers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Apparently it takes one punter.
Oh my gosh.
After last week, because we talked about the Scottish Hammer being terrible last year, but
Scottish Hammer.
He has been our special team stud this year, as crazy as it sounds.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, well, it's pretty bad when you're on kicker number 3. Kicker number 3 is not good.
I mean, Randy has been around the league. He's been good. So it's one thing.
He's a veteran. But I'm telling you look at him and you would never think football player.
No. It's true.
Usually when you see a kicker, you don't think of them as like a football player because they're so tiny. He's got dad bod. He's like lumpy and just doesn't look like. Oh,
yeah, he's
bad. I'm going to ship the rest of this bag to you, Rob.
That's all you, man. I got some crickets left over, or we could swap, I guess.
Yeah, honestly, the crickets aren't that bad as compared to this. I should have saved this for when it was your week.
Look, say crickets weren't that bad. Minus a couple of little between the teeth, but
yeah. I think I'm done. I have 5 pieces. That's enough, right?
Yeah, for now. But in the middle of we're talking about different picks.
No,
you can dabble in between. I mean, I do with the crickets. You're all about that.
That's because you're putting in one piece at a time. This is a big chunk of this stuff.
You're right. Every time I put a piece in my mouth, I ate a cricket. You're eating part of a piece of fruit that's freeze dried.
I'm eating something that at least smells like a dead corpse.
Listen, someone very important in your life told you have to eat the whole bag because they don't want the smell in the house. So you better eat the whole bag.
I see her in there. My mother-in-law in there saying you gotta eat the whole bag, but nope.
You better.
All righty. Let's get into the visits here. So according to Dan Duggan, the Giants hosted wide receiver Michael Jefferson for a visit and had workouts with offensive lineman Jordan Roos, cornerback Thomas Graham, and cornerback Chris Jackson. So Jefferson is the only interesting name of this whole bunch, if we're being honest here. I saw this nasty Jason now. He was projected to be a mid to late pick in this draft. Got into a huge car accident, multiple surgeries. They knew he'd be out for the entire year. You don't waste a draft pick on somebody going through that kind of scenario. I hate to say it that way and be cruel about it.
It's a heinous way to say it because it's a person's life, but it's also financial and it's also a business aspect to the game. Like, I mean, you can take it down, which some people look at like you're not going to buy a racehorse that has a broken leg. You're also not.
Way to make the analogy sound worse. Now you're calling the guy a racehorse.
Well, you're also not going. I mean, once again, like people who own racehorses make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Same thing with race cars or just like a piece of property. Like you can buy whatever. Not say that he's a piece of property, but anyway,
you're just going to stop. Quit while you're behind.
Yes.
Quit while you're behind.
I am doing this. All right.
Quit while you're behind. Anyway, he went undrafted. And like I said, had multiple surgeries there. So this is really a move for potentially for next season more than anything else. We'll have to keep an eye and see what happens there overall. But just like I said, a name to consider because if the visit goes well, and he's visited other teams, it's not just us. If he visits this and this goes well here, maybe you see him next year. I still have this nasty freaking durian taste in my mouth. Anyway, we'll see what happens there overall. As far as the rest of them, Roos is 30. He's appeared in 21 games as a guard, including 3 starts last season. Graham is 24, appeared in 11 games with a lone start. Jackson is 25, appeared in 24 games with 6 starts. So again, these are borderline NFL players for the most part they brought in. That's what's going to be available this late in the season. Pro Bowlers aren't walking the streets right now. Leonard's gone.
Yeah. Bye.
Now, talking about the draft here, the Giants are going to have one less option to look at during the draft, as Carson Beck has announced he will be going back to Georgia. So he wasn't one of the top quarterbacks in the draft, don't get me wrong, but this was a guy who probably would have been about a 3rd-round pick. You know, he's probably thinking go back one more year, try to be a 1st-round pick, maybe win a championship in Georgia because he only was a 1-year starter there. But this was an interesting guy. I thought that if the Giants couldn't get somebody early on, that's somebody you can maybe take and try to groom. And as a 3rd-round pick, if he doesn't make it, not a big deal to try a quarterback in 3rd round.
No, 100%. And you're right. Like, even if he doesn't get to the 1st round, like, he ups himself to the 2nd round. Like, that's just way more capital than it is.
Well, it's also, you got to think about it.
He's betting on himself, and he's also making investments in college. So,
but I was about to say he's making money in college. It's also the NIL is part of that there, because let's look at Dorian Thompson-Robinson. I was trying to think of a mid-round pick. He's somebody who comes into mind. He was a 4th-round pick. So his whole contract for 4 years is $4 million. So he made $800,000, $835,000 this year. A guy like this guy, Nick Beck, probably makes more of that next year in college. So, again, food for thought there. That does change the landscape of the draft now, because you have to keep an eye and figure out where these guys are going to be.
Until he goes to place the 1st quarter in the 2nd game, tears his ACL, and then now he drops back and doesn't make all the endorsement money. But whatever.
No, but
you have to bet on yourself. I don't disagree.
Which chocolate milk is not fully doing it, by the way. I'm trying to get rid of this nasty flavor. Here's the worst news we have to share with you guys. So, ex-Giant Derrick Ward was arrested in a string of robberies in Los Angeles. And you would think, okay, ex-NFL player, robberies, this might be like a big heist kind of situation. Like I'm expecting Ocean's 13, like they're robbing some hotel in Vegas. No.
Right.
They robbed 5 businesses, including gas stations in LA. This is a guy who was estimated to have made $17 million during his time in the NFL. Safe to say he did not save it.
Yes, was endorsements included in there?
No. But anybody looking at that many endorsements. I mean, I can't imagine.
I would say Ward's not making that many endorsements, but I'm sure.
But he still had a 1,000-yard season with us.
Yeah.
So I mean, he probably did get some, but I mean, I wouldn't think of that much.
He was definitely Nike
It's
socks picked him up or something.
it's more like he'd get paid to show up to sign some autographs at a pizzeria or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like almost like I'm foreshadowing here.
As long as he doesn't double the price before he robbed these businesses.
Yeah. Anyway, Derrick Ward is from all accounts still being held right now. Currently, there is a bond out for him. Everything as far as these robberies was at least the best of the public knowledge out there right now to be not involving any guns or anything like that. So means he's probably going to go away if he's convicted and found guilty of these things he's accused of, because we still have to say that. We still have to say accused of because, again, he hasn't gone through court cases and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to automatically assume guilt there. But
there's just been another guy that looks like him.
I mean, you got to think that if they arrested him, chances are they got some pretty damn good evidence. But I mean, again,
especially a guy like him, it's not like you or I went into LA and robbed these places. You have to have pretty confident evidence, and you don't need that much to arrest a guy like Derrick Ward, because like his face has been plastered across the national stage.
Okay, I see what you're saying, because he's got celebrity status. He's more likely to be noticed by somebody at that point there. And I have to assume if he's living in LA, he probably came from LA as far as his background. I don't know. I can't sit there and pretend to be an expert on Derrick Ward and where he went to high school and that kind of stuff there. But LA is a very expensive town, and it's not usually where you end up, if you want to be good with your money, that's for sure. But you know what? I just looked it up. Yeah, he was born in Los Angeles, so he is LA native. So that's why. So yeah, probably knew somebody there. Somebody probably recognized his face or recognized him in general. So, all right.
I mean,
anyway,
listen, it's either you're really rich out there, or you could also own a tent. I mean, that's a way cheaper way of living your life.
Or you can just rob some gas stations, apparently.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm sure you're going to wish you get a tent for $50. It's way cheaper.
You have to wait 5 months for it to come in, but
Yeah.
Let's talk about Pizzagate. Oh, yes, because Pizzagate has been a topic amongst Giant fans basically ever since the game ended. That's basically when the news broke here. So let's get into the thing here. So rumors flew that Tommy DeVito backed out of an appearance at Caniglio's. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm the worst Italian ever. Pizzeria there. The pizzeria said that after the Packers win, they got told the charge would double from $10,000 to $20,000. DeVito's agent, Sean Stellato, I think we all know him by now because of his fun get-ups there.
Because he looked like a leprechaun the last time he was out in the field.
Yeah. And before that, it was like Leonard Cohen singing Hallelujah. Yeah. So, but he said that no agreement has been made. The business then showed a text from Stellato that seemed to indicate an agreement was in place. Though I will say this, obviously, because this went down this way, there was no contract actually signed. And that's a big part of this there. Because if the contract was signed, they couldn't make changes to things.
100%.
So that's where you get that gray area. So this became basically a big story due to DeVito's recent fame after the win on Monday Night Football. I even saw it pop up in my Yahoo even at that point. Yes, I'm that old. I use Yahoo because that's my regular email. So yeah, DeVito took definitely an image hit for this one. In the end, he ended up showing to the pizzeria on Tuesday for free. He also did sign autographs and take pictures while he was there. It's also been announced that DeVito has hired Max Setzer, I'm probably mispronounced that name there, as his official off-field management. So basically, here's what happened. I'm going to word it this way. And if anybody knows more than I do on this, like if, Sean Stellato, who actually I did email him today, actually, ironically enough, but something else completely different. But if anybody else wants to correct me, feel free. So Sean is a NFL agent, guys. He deals with NFL contracts. Usually most people who are bigger names in the NFL have multiple people on their team. They have people that deal with their social media, people that deal with their off-field appearances, people that deal with their contracts, all these kind of things. So Sean's kind of putting on multiple hats, probably brightly colored hats, but still, either way, he's got multiple hats.
Sometimes they're pinstriped.
I'm just saying, like, that's the problem. Is that this guy blew up out of nowhere and he didn't have the proper team around him to get this set up. I don't blame Tommy because I don't even know how much Tommy even knew about this whole thing, to be very frank with you.
Well, I mean, he probably knew somewhat. I don't know if he knew all the ins and outs. And at the same time, like, you're an undrafted free agent playing for your team that you grew up watching as a fan of. That, like, there were some rumors out there that he took less money because the Commanders offered him more money to go over there, and he stayed to be a Giant. So now you have success. That everything's doing this. Like, we're in a tornado in New Jersey. At least, DeVito was.
Yeah. That
he wasn't equipped for it. He wasn't ready. It wasn't like he was in Lawrence, Kansas.
See, I don't even think it's that, honestly. I'll tell you from experience that I've had working with people that are I don't want to give too much away on this whole part of it because it might turn into a topic we don't want to have here. But I've been involved with different fields before with people who have local celebrity status, I'll put it that way. And I was involved with booking some of those people for events and things like that. And I can tell you point blank that those people are not involved with where they show up. They're not involved with the details of it. They have people under them that deal with all that stuff. I guarantee you that Tommy DeVito doesn't know where he's going for signings and appearances until he looks at his calendar.
You're not wrong. A part of that. I mean, you're not wrong, and it's not every celebrity because I've also dealt with this similar situation with local talent that comes around to local.
Oh, and I'm not saying every single one,
but
do you think during the season, while he's doing practice and travel and all this stuff, negotiating with the freaking pizzeria?
Yeah, for the autograph money and all that. I got you. Like,
it
depends. Some guys are at top of everything that they're getting into, where they're going, because they don't want their brand to be out somewhere.
We got people, by the way, in the comments section asking for more durian here. So I'm going to go for some more durian. Let me take a good whiff out of this. Ooh, whoa.
It's like smelling salts.
It's bad. But I think honestly that's what it was. I think he got so big so quickly that he just didn't have the proper team around to handle things. And you're asking a lot of one guy in Sean to go ahead and handle all these things for him at once. Because first off, DeVito is not his only client. He's, I believe, and like I said, I don't pretend to be an expert in every single agent, but he's a smaller firm. He doesn't have 10,000 people under him and 10,000 clients, So again, I think the problem was the system just wasn't set up. And I will say this, and I'll probably get some slack for this, but I will also blame the pizzeria to a certain degree. Because if the contract is not signed, it's not finalized, you shouldn't be advertising the event yet. And I don't know how much the pizzeria does events like that and where they know the proper stuff. I'm not saying they had any kind of ill will. They had a text message saying what the amount was they agreed to, and they thought it was a done deal at that point, potentially, for all I know. But if you're a business, you have to have everything signed on the dotted line before you start advertising for an event like that.
You're not wrong, but also a lot of diners in New Jersey like to go with a handshake agreement. So
the Jersey way, I get it, but that's not the legal way at that point. That's not.
It's not. But
that also goes a long way. About that.
It also goes a long way in New Jersey, and and especially since DeVito is a Jersey boy, like that's something that people would think he would uphold, even though it is his agent. That
is worse piece than the other pieces were. I can't.
Oh, you can.
Oh my God! Next week is also durian, so you get the trust.
Oh
my God!
Next week is a fart in a jar, and I'm going to fart in a coffee cup.
I'm with you. I don't know why this is, by the way. I feel like each piece I've had has been worse than the prior. It's like gaining in horribleness as I eat. The first piece tasted kind of sweet. So, oh my God. That's nasty. Never have a durian. Anyway, we got some games to preview here for you guys today as well. Before we do that, let's go through here. We got all kinds of comments here, mostly about durian. And then we'll pay the bills real quick, and we'll go through with you guys here all the games here coming up this week and give you the update on where we're at. So we got there she is, my mother-in-law. You're saying she says you're going to eat the whole bag, right? Nope. That's too much.
You definitely should.
That's a massive bag. That's a $10 bag of durian. Be ashamed to waste.
It's like $12 in crickets.
It was a small bag you had. I saw that bag. Had chocolate on it too. Connor says Scottish Hammer kicking field goals now too. Told you he'd be good. And then you have to eat the whole bag. I'm not eating the whole bag. It's bad. Connor says amazes me these players get paid in college now. Bad enough they become divas in the NFL. Now they'll be divas before they get in the NFL. You know, I think I'm very mixed on it because the colleges make so much goddamn money off this that it's only fair that the guys get to make some money off their own likeness. On top of that, there are guys who will never get that big payday in the NFL. The biggest place they get is to the college. So if they make some money off their likeness, great for them. Because school, even if you're getting a free ride, let's say hypothetically you're a scholarship student that gets maybe 10,000. Let me say hypothetically, I'm giving you a random number. I don't know what the numbers are. Let's say they make $10,000 off their likeness while they're going to Alabama. They don't get to go to the NFL. They're not that good. They're like that borderline player like that. Well, now they get $10,000 to start their life with when they graduate college. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Now, let's say you got a guy like Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams made what I think my accounts. I think I heard was like $2.3 million, something like that, this year playing college football. So, if that's the case, that might have been what kept him in one more year. And the longer these kids stay in college, the better developed they are to be NFL players, and the less likely they are to fail miserably when they hit there. And the Giants and other NFL teams have a better chance to see them, scout them, and figure out better who they actually are. I think it's actually going to be best for the NFL in the end, as scary as that sounds, because you're losing some of the young talent like that. But I think it's better for the NFL as a whole. I really do. People don't go out early because they have to, help pay for something because they come from a poorer family or something like that. All the cliches you always hear, like that kind of stuff, Like, you don't have that scenario because they're making money while they're in school, Yeah,
it helps settle, too, because, like, you get some of those people that come from, like, these metropolitan areas that never had money growing up, or they're single parent or whatever the scenario is, and they go to the NFL and it changes the family's life. Now they can do that in college and help the family puts a little stress, which also adds catch-22, doesn't give them enough drive, but same token gives them enough time to develop to be a better NFL player, which is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be better long term. Connor says, Jeannie is saying eat the whole bag, Drew Boy. I'm not eating the whole bag. It's not going to happen. Connor
don't eat the plastic, but eat the fruit.
Oh, no, God. I'm telling you, I'm done. It's nasty. Connor says, Roberto is a big star. Drew is almost there. JK, Drew, you're a little star. LOL. Okay. We're getting like a size battle here. I didn't think we were doing that there. Connor says, did I hear Tommy fired his agent, got another one? And then Deb says, Connor, I already got a new marketing agent, which is basically what happened.
Yeah.
And then
he's got more agents. He didn't fire anyone.
And then, of course, my wife gets into the mix and says, eat more durian as well. The whole family's trying to get me to eat durian.
Don't eat more durian, man.
Connor says, how do you guys feel about having to get autographs done or $25 to $100? I never pay. F that. I'm very mixed on that kind of stuff because I feel like if I'm going to go, let's say I want to go meet Lawrence Taylor, for example, okay? Or Harry Carson. Guys that I'm not trying to insinuate you're hurting for money whatsoever. But let's say they're guys haven't played like that in 40 years or something like that. These guys didn't make that much money playing football back in the day. So if they can make some money and people are willing to pay for it, by all means, go for it. Make your money. I have no issues with that whatsoever. Now, for a guy like Tommy DeVito, I can also say it this way as well. This guy probably is as popular and famous now as he ever will be in his entire life. He's smart to make every dime he can off of that in the meantime. Because tomorrow, you never know what's going to happen.
So my thing when it comes down to that, too, is if you're going to a signing event, you know what you're signing up for to get signed. There's no question.
And
I paid $100 for that sign because I saw sign. But there are people who will pay that, and because they know that down the road that autograph's going to be worth money. So don't bitch about paying that price when it is flat out there out to the world. Like, hey, come to this event, and it's going to be $50 autograph, and a picture included. Cool. Because in 20 years, like if it's like an LT and he did that in his prime, that $50 picture is now worth like $500.
Yeah. And again, I'm not suggesting that anybody needs to go out and pay autographs for athletes and stuff like that, but the market is clearly there, and I can't blame them for making money.
But also, if it's kind of catch a guy in the street as he's walking in, you so happen to have a picture, you'd be like, "Yo, can I get an autograph?" You also shouldn't turn around, or she shouldn't have to turn around and be like, "That's $50."
So I'll say this: the one that I like,
moment.
the one that I remember, and I'm going back to my own childhood here because that's the big thing that hits me is don't abuse it with the kids. Like you want somebody like myself who I can pay that money if I really wanted to get that kind of stuff, then fine, take my money, But if a little kid comes up to you, give them the goddamn autograph. That's where the difference comes in.
There's opportune moments to make the money off it, and there's opportune moments. But here you go.
But I'll use it as my own analogies when I was a kid, and we've talked about it before because it's a fun memory of mine from my childhood going to the Big Blue Travels postseason thing back in I think it was '97 when the Giants won the NFC East with Danny Cannell as the quarterback. There was two guys there that went out of their way to be extremely nice with the children. I mean, taking extra pictures, giving extra autographs, doing things they weren't supposed to do. And you could tell they were trying to sneak it in because they knew they weren't supposed to do it. It wasn't like they were just doing it. Like they were like, oh, I'm not supposed to do it. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. And that was two guys that you don't ever hear about in Giants history because they were starters, but they weren't exactly huge names. That's Scott Gregg and Roman Oben, who were the starting tackles back then. I will always remember those two names, not just because I have weird knowledge of Giants stuff, because I have a weird memory overall, but because of how nice they were to children. And I recognize that as an adult now, looking back on that, going, they did a lot of stuff they didn't have to do. That was awesome.
It goes a long way.
Like I said, again, if somebody wants to pay for that, I can't blame them. I really can't. And I'm not saying I would go out and pay for it. I'm not going to. You notice what I have back here, there's nothing signed behind me. Because I won't go do that because this doesn't have that value to me. But that's fine. That means if it doesn't have that value to me, I'll just do without it. I don't need it.
I agree.
So I know you have some signed stuff yourself at that point that was given to you that you didn't pay for. So,
it's keyword.
It's all, like I said, it's all what you want to do with it. That's all. So anyway, Connor says, oh, thanks, Deb, talking about the agency thing there. Deb says, I'm with you on paid autographs, Connor. Sabrina chimes in with Team Durian. Everybody's on this.
Do it.
Jack
do it.
says, yeah.
Durian.
Sabrina says, ew. Connor says, these guys are already getting paid by place. Why would I pay too? Because you will. Maybe not you specifically, but you as in we, the Giants fandom, we will pay it.
Or just the
Therefore,
fandom
they will.
in general.
If you go to a Comic-Con, let me use that as an example because that's something I've talked about before. I go to conventions like Dragon Con and Atlanta and stuff like that. If you go there, it's extra to get autographs. You don't just get autographs because you went to a convention. It's the same kind of thing. You get paid to go to the event. You get paid for getting things at the event. It's the same kind of thing. There's a lot of businesses that practice it that way. There's
I was
nothing
going to
wrong
say
with it. My
the WWF or WWE, whatever it's called these days. Same thing. Those wrestlers, they go out and they sign autographs. The guys, put their lives on the line and they sign autographs until the day they die. Like, I mean, you got a Hulk Hogan in your backyard. He signs autographs. He gets like $75 a pop.
I don't know. I never asked him for one. Never saw him.
That's what I hear. I don't have any wrestlers' autographs, but I have a friend that has a lot.
The only one I had was what's her name? I always want to say her name wrong. She was in Playboy actually.
China?
Not China. No, not China. God no. I'm trying to think of the name of her now.
Sunny?
No, it wasn't Sunny. It was the girl with all the piercings and all.
Lita?
Nope.
Especially she wasn't in there.
I will take a look at it. I'll figure it out later on.
Yeah, whatever.
Ashley Mazzaro. That's her name. Ashley Mazzaro.
Who is she?
She was one of the WWE divas back in the day. But I went to a signing of hers in Times Square at the Virgin Megastore. I know, ironic. Virgin Megastore for a Playboy signing. but yeah, that was no charge. But again, they're different things for different folks. I wouldn't go to one that was a charge. I only went to that one, to be honest, because a friend of mine wanted to go. So, but I mean, whatever. Anyway. Connor says, let's see, 100 for an autograph or buy groceries or something to give to charity. And that's the decision you got to make. That's what it boils down to. If you're in a position where it's $100 for autograph or buying groceries, I'm going to suggest groceries.
Yeah, 100%.
But if you're somebody who has $100 to spare and you want to spend it on an autograph, I have no problem with people doing that. That makes them happy. That's, we all work hard for our money. So, whatever makes us happy with the money we make. I mean, there's plenty of tchotchkes behind me and stuff that cost more than an autograph would have cost. I mean, even this show as a whole at that point, Rob and I spent a lot of money doing this at that point. This is not something that we can sit there and say is a 9-to-5 job we're making a ton of money on. We do it because we enjoy it. And if people enjoy getting autographs and that's what they want to spend their money on, I'm not going to blame them for it. Connor says, I go on to place to get autographs, didn't see anything about paying. Then I get there and you have to pay for the autograph. And if you want to pick, you got to pay for that stuff too. Shake my fucking head. And that's different. If you're not putting it up front, that's a different scenario. You should be very upfront and honest with people. Connor says, bad enough sometimes you go and it's a long fucking line and they move you out of there so fast sometimes. Well, if they didn't, imagine how bad the line would be. Connor says $50 for 10 seconds, rather get a hooker, LOL. I'm not sure if you're aware of the going rates for a hooker, Connor, but I believe $50 is not enough. And if it is, you better run and get yourself tested as soon as you're done.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Put yourself in a whole hefty bag.
Sabrina says that was about Rob's fart in the cup. Not the ew thing. Not the brain. It's about you fart in the cup there. Connor says, if you pay for autographs, you're a loser, LOL. JK, I'd pay for a signed Super Bowl autograph that was certificate authenticity, maybe. I mean, again, it's all what people enjoy. I have no problem with it either way. So, all right, like I said, let's pay the bills real quick. And then we're going to go ahead and go into the game's preview here.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. Buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
All righty, guys. On to the games. And of course, as always, we start off our preview episode here with
the losing
going over
what
the rundown.
Going
over the rundown of everything going on there. Now, I will say this. We're going to do a quick rundown this episode. So more like, this is what I think, this is what Rob thinks real quick, because we're already 42 minutes into this. Yeah. We had a lot of Giants news to go over there with you guys. And the topic of during it and autographs also took a lot longer than I think we expected. So let's go into real quick where you are on the total, how we did last week and where the totals are now for the week, for the year.
Yeah, so last week, Drew, you had 10 straight up. You had 7 against the spread. You had 3 over-unders and 3 trifectas. That puts you at 34 on the year straight
134.
up. 134.
134.
Once you get that high, it's fine enough.
Rounding down.
103 against the spread. 109 in the over-under and 50 trifectas. That's pretty damn good with the trifectas. Not going to lie.
Not good enough.
Not good enough. You're right. I had 11 straight up, putting me at 135 on the year, which gives me 1 on the edge. Literally, that 1 extra put me 1 on the edge for you.
Yep.
I had 8 against the spread. Once again, 1 ahead of you, putting me at 118 for the year.
No, you're 15 ahead of me on the spread.
Oh, no. So I was talking about
okay.
for the week.
The week, yeah.
Yeah. Which puts me at 118 for the year. I had 6 over-unders, putting me at 108, which is 1 behind where you're at.
I need more chocolate milk to get rid of the nasty taste in my mouth.
And I had 4 trifectas, putting me at 52 a year. The big difference here was our over-unders.
Yeah, that's honestly for the month. I mean, for the year, we're pretty much neck and neck on everything except the over/under. You got me beat by 15, which is basically 1 per week.
The spread.
I mean, the spread, yeah, which is basically 1 difference per week.
Yeah. So that was like one of those things. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
Especially since I had that one. I had that one phenomenal week, which really put me
last week
ahead. With the 4 against the spread.
4, yeah. That happens.
Or when I had 13 against the spread, whatever week that was.
Alrighty, let's get into our picks real quick. Like I said, we're gonna do the quick rundown here for you guys here this week. So
yeah,
let's get into it, Rob.
So we got
Thursday night.
Remember, we got 4 different days that we're playing football. So Thursday night, we got the Saints going into LA playing the Rams. The Saints are plus 4.5 Ramrod. Team Ramrod. Ram Saint. The over-under is 46 points. Drew, what do you think about this game?
I'm going to be quick on this. Rams win. Rams cover. Under on the points.
What was the over-under?
46. You and I agree.
No. So, you took the under. Okay, so I agree with the 100%. So I'm taking Rams across the board. I just think that the Saints just had a good week because they played a crappy team. The Saints team, both these teams are playoff teams, but the Rams
one actually deserves to potentially be it, and one is going to be lucky into it if they get in.
Correct.
All right. Next up,
we're going to Saturday. 4 o'clock. You got the divisional rival.
To see our viewership go down with the singing.
Yes. Divisional rival. You got the Bengals going into the Steelers, playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are laying 2 at home. They're plus 2 points. And the over-under is 37 points. What a whopping game. Yep. So I'm taking the Bengals to win. The Steelers already announced that Rudolph is coming to town for Christmas weekend.
Rudolph, the red-nosed quarterback.
The whole locker room shouted out with glee.
He's a shiny new quarterback.
And if you
ever saw him, you would say he also sucks.
100%.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Bengals to win this game. They're gonna beat that cover. Browning has just come out playing great. Browning almost reminds me of Brock Purdy of last year.
I wouldn't go that far yet. Too small a sample size.
Well, there was a very small sample size of Brock Purdy last year as well.
We had like a half the season basically with him by the time the season was over. Okay.
I mean, he was 6 games going into the playoffs.
Yeah, and then he got to play in the playoffs, so we had about 8 games, which is half a season.
I mean, how many games has Browning had?
3 or 4.
This is his 4th game.
Gotta give it time.
Plays for the rest of the year. Plays for the rest of the year.
Patience.
Plays for the rest of the year. It reminds me of Brock Purdy. Comes in around the same time, same week. Comes in, starts playing well.
If so, maybe he's a good trade candidate for a team that needs a quarterback. Just saying.
Exactly. I'm about to say.
I wonder what team might need a quarterback. I wonder what team might need a quarterback. I don't know. What team might need a quarterback?
There's plenty of them out there because there's 19 injured quarterbacks this year.
Yes. Oh my God.
Anyway, I'm taking the under in the game as well.
I'm with you 100%. The one thing I'm just curious about is what's going to happen with Jamar Chase going to be out for the game and how much that affects also Browning, because it's a little easier when you're a new quarterback going into a system that has a stud wide receiver. You lose that, it changes things a little bit. Now they do have a second stud wide receiver, supposedly. I still think T. Higgins is not nearly as good as Chase, but he's still better than most receivers in this league. So they do have that as a insurance policy there. So, but we'll see. I still think that the Steelers just suck. They can't get out of their own way because the team just is horrible. And as good as a coach as Tomlin is, you can only make good food in the kitchen with shitty ingredients so many times.
Yes, I agree. So my last
time to burn this souffle. Burn the souffle.
We'll leave it on this. Steelers defense is terrible. Brown also spread the ball out to 6 different receivers last week and it threw for like 300 yards. So, yeah, there you go. That's what's going to win this game. Up next.
Right. Next
up next, you get the Bills going into LA playing them Chargers.
Saturday night game.
What did I say? Sit up next. No?
Yeah, I'm just saying, they're specifying it's a Saturday night game. Because this is a little bit different. They had 3 Saturdays last time. They're doing a 4:30 game and an 8 o'clock game this time.
Touche. And at 8,
Baba Boucher.
Baba Boucher said the Bills are playing the Chargers in LA, and the Chargers. Mama said Chargers plus 12 points in this game, Drew, and the over-under is 44. What are your thoughts?
You know what? Again, we're almost identical, except for one thing. I got the Bills to win. I think the Bills will cover the spread. I know 12 is a ton of points, and you guys know me well enough to know that I don't like to ever go with the winning team to go ahead and beat a team that badly. But have you watched the Chargers lately? Oh my God. You watched the Raiders, look how good they looked against them. If the Raiders can put up 60 on them, how much can the Bills put up? God damn. Now, I will say this, new coach, which, you never know what happens. You don't know what kind of animosity there was between the old coach and everything there. But I'm sorry, it's still the same roster. I can't trust this team. It could be 20 points, and I would probably still go for the Bills, as bad as that sounds.
Over under?
Under.
Yeah.
Only because of I think the Bills would do their part, but I think it's like a 30 to 14 kind of, that kind of 27 to 14. It's gonna be a high score enough to beat that spread, but I just don't see the Chargers doing enough points wise. I mean, it could even be like a 40 to 3 kind of game. Like it could be that bad of a beating.
It could be, and that was the hardest part for me. I feel confident about the under. I feel good about the Bills winning. I feel very confident about the Bills winning. To me, it just 12 is a lot of points, and you got that. Let's rally up for the new coaching staff, and that's why I gave him those 12 points, because at the beginning of the week, after the Bills annihilated, had another tear. This spread was 10.5, and it went up to 12. So I'm taking the Chargers with that, even though you got a hockey stick as your quarterback.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Anyway, up next.
Next up, Sunday.
You got those electrifying Colts. You could almost call them the unicorns.
They would need a horn first. They're not quite as horny.
Oh, yeah. Well, depends. Minshew, with that stash, he might be. Going to Atlanta playing the Falcons. Colts are +1 in this game, and the over-under is 44.5 points. The Falcons are god-awful. Desmond Ridder threw one of the worst picks of the season.
Yep.
Last week, in desperate time against a terrible team, and giving up their playoff potentially. And the Colts, they win this game. They have 9 wins on the year. They're going to the playoffs. They win this game. Most likely they will go to the playoffs. So I'm taking the Colts. It should be noted,
Taylor Heineke is the starting quarterback for the Falcons this one. They've already announced that. Desmond Ridder's out.
Yeah, you saw the way he played. Yeah, it makes sense.
Out all year long. I've said that from the get-go, but anyway.
Yeah. We went back and forth on that a lot this year. And
we were in the Taylor Heineke crowd the entire time.
Yeah. And let's give kudos because Jeff Saturday was supposed to do this to this team last year, and it didn't matter who you put in a quarterback, it didn't matter who was your running back, you just win games. And that defense, it doesn't matter who you give up because they still play defensively majority of the time. So Colts win, Colts cover, and I'm taking the under in this game because I don't have faith in the Falcons to do jack and shit. But their defense is still there.
100% with you there.
Cool. Up next. Let's talk about the PP, the Packers and the Panthers.
Whoa, let's not
the Packers and the Panthers. The Packers and the Panthers.
The PP.
Yeah. You got Green Bay going into Carolina playing them Panthers. The Panthers are +5 at home. Talk about home field advantage.
Yeah.
Over under is 36. Drew, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean Packers over. Very simple. Panthers suck. Yeah. We don't really need to give much more besides that. It's like this is one of the worst teams we've seen in a decade. They're that bad. So yeah, Packers.
God awful. Yeah, it's a bounce back game for the Packers. They needed this game if they want to stay in playoff potential, and I agree 100%. Packers over. Let's talk about a more exciting game. Let's talk about the Browns going into Houston.
I gotta say, you and I have to start disagreeing a little bit here because
we will. There's a couple games here. We're going to
okay. I'm noticing here all these agreements here we got going on here.
Yeah, we had a lot of last week too, but we had enough that separated things.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the Browns going into Houston playing the Texans.
What can Brown do for you?
Oh, they'll Flacco you. That's what they're going to do for you. Anyway, so Texans are 2.5 at home, and the over-under is 40.
Now, CJ Stroud will not be in the game again.
Yes.
By all accounts. That's not official from last I heard, but it's
last I heard he's not in the game, and I'm because
keep in mind that because if he's in the game, that changes things.
It does, and if you think he's playing, get on your bets now because it will change.
Honestly, if you think he's playing, walk away from this game because it's such a gimme game. It's not funny where either team could take it. But if you're going to talk about him being out, that's where I'm interested.
I mean, the Browns have been dominating since Flacco has taken over. That defense, once again, we've talked about top 3, arguably. We said at certain points of this football season that they're the number 1 defense, but you can't take it away from that. So at this point, definitely top 3.
Take that away from them.
Oh, so I'm taking the Browns to win, the Browns to cover in this game. I'm taking the under because I took the under because I didn't believe CJ Stroud is playing this game, and if he is, I am totally wrong about the under because it could go to the over. But like you said, there's a lot of El Paso.
If I thought he was playing, I would not go near this game with my 10 foot pole. Not going to happen.
No.
All right, I'm 100% on board. Browns under. Next up.
All right, let's talk about the Lions going into Minnesota playing the Falcons. The Vikings. The Vikings in the Dome.
How many games are the Vikings playing this week?
The Falcons are apparently playing 2. The Vikings aren't playing any. The Vikings are +3 at home, and the over-under is 47 points. Drew.
You and I again are just like we have to have different opinions here because I got Lions, and I got under. I think the Lions are a lot better team than the Vikings are with all the issues the Vikings are having on offense. The Vikings' issues on offense is the whole reason why I have them going on the under at that point. I think the Vikings will not score enough to hit that number. The Lions will get close to there by themselves, probably the way things are going. But yeah, Lions under. Again, keep in mind, it'll probably be a somewhat closer game to expect on paper because it's divisional rivals to see them each other twice a year. But yeah, no, Vikings don't stand a chance.
Yeah, no. You got golf in the Dome. He doesn't have to worry about the weather. So it's more like a home game than an away game for him. Their offense is starting to look better, and the Vikings are starting Mullen.
Yeah,
they lost Cousins. They signed. Well, Mullen played the game, didn't look so good. They get Dobbs. He looked like an engineer. It was amazing. And then he fell.
He went back to earth.
Yeah.
I'll say this: the only thing The only thing I want to be mulling this time of year is my wine and my cider. Okay.
There we go. Actually, did you see any of the game? I was watching some of the Red Zone. One of the announcers, he said something along the lines. This game would be a lot closer for the Vikings if Mullins had the ability to actually get the ball into the end zone, or didn't genetically have the improbability not to get the ball in the end zone.
I'm not sure why that'd be genetic, but okay. That's a little personal.
It was pretty harsh.
Wow.
His family was in the stands.
It attacked his family.
Yeah. Anyway, up next, let's talk about another exciting game. A little closer to home. You got the Commanders going into the Jets. You're coming into MetLife, Giant Stadium, if you will. DC plus 3. Over under is 37.5 points. Talk about another crap bowl at MetLife, but I'm taking the Jets to win this. I'm taking the Jets to cover this, and I'm taking the under. I don't have faith in the Commanders to do what they have to do. They let go some of the best defensive players, and their defense does not look good now. Howell got benched as far as the last I looked. He's not a starter, and it doesn't really matter who's starting for the Jets quarterback, which I'm assuming is going to be Wilson. The best unit on that team is going to be the Jets defense, and that's what's going to win the game and keep it in the under.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that one, but I will say that Sam Howell is still the starting quarterback for the Commanders. That has not changed. That's according to the Washington Commanders' own website even. He's still number 1 on the depth chart. I went to double check to make sure on that. Zach Wilson is questionable after having the concussion last week. We all know you get a concussion, you probably don't play at least 1 week. So that leaves you to go, okay, Trevor Siemian, Brett Rapin. Do I trust either of those to do anything on offense? Now, don't get me wrong. I trust the Jets defense. You're right on that. I trust the defense the most out of the 4 parts of this, game, the offense and defense for both. But I trust the Jets offense with either of those two there the least. And that's what makes me go to the Jets to lose this, because I think it's going to be a good old, as you like to call it there, the good old slobber knocker at this point. This is going to be like... This is going to be like a 10-3 kind of final score kind of thing at that point. It's going to be that kind of bad, badness there. But I think the Commanders do pull it out in the end. I think under on the points, and I think that it's going to be a really bad game to watch. So unless you're a Jet fan or a Commander fan, I would not recommend it.
See, I told you we got some differences here. Let's talk about another different game we got here.
Ooh.
We got the Seahawks going into Tennessee.
And Dakota, be nice. I see you in the comment section. Yeah. Be nice.
Titans are plus 2.5 at home, and the over-under is 41.5 points. Drew, tell me why we disagree.
I don't know why you disagree with me, but I can tell you what I agree with. I think that the Titans going to win this game. My main thing is that I just don't think the Seahawks have been playing, minus this last game against the Eagles, the best. And just something tells me this is the kind of game that is going to be the upset kind of thing. I do think that the Titans are up and down every other week. They're good. Every other week they're bad. They were bad last week, so that means they should be good this week. So, like I said, there's no exact science to why I'm picking them, but that's just my thought process. So I got the Titans to win. Titans obviously to cover because they're getting the plus. I got the over on the points.
See, we're complete opposite in this game.
You're laughing because of the comment section. I have a feeling, by the way, too, as well, because there's Connor and Dakota going out. You two play nice.
I'm going to complete opposite, and Will Levis is questionable to play this game for myself, and that which makes a difference. We'll make it interesting if Tannehill has to play this game against the Seahawks. Seahawks missed Geno Smith, who's been banged up for the past few weeks, been questionable, fighting through an injury. But they also beat up on one of the top teams in the NFC. And they have to win this game to make a playoff potential run. They are still mathematically in it. They still win this game. I take the Seahawks and Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky Pete.
That'll be our sneaky.
Snicker.
win this one out in the under with the Hawks winning the spread as well. Let's go to the 4:00 game. The first 4:05
4:05 game,
which is a very interesting game to me as well. You got the Jaguars going in to the West Coast of their state, playing the Buccaneers. It is a flip of a coin. Who do you want to take in the spread?
Yeah, there is no spread. It's an even.
And this line is flipped up and down.
I think this is our first pick 'em all year we've had too. That just shows you how often that doesn't happen.
There was a few last year, but there was
I don't think there was one this year yet.
Yeah, I don't recall that. Yeah, I don't think so. But yeah, the over-under is 43 points in this game. I think this game, if you want to bet this game, wait to hear the full extent of Trevor Lawrence's health, because he has not looked the same since that high ankle sprain.
Nope.
And I said from the get-go,
high ankle sprain. He's got a high ankle sprain.
But I said from the get-go, they probably should have benched him that first week if they want to make that playoff run. And they had the potential to be the number one in the AFC. And that's way out of contention because it depends on what Houston does this week. They may not make the playoffs. We shall see.
We shall.
But
I think they
that being said, he's also another quarterback that was possibly concussed, right? Last week?
Yep.
Who might not play this game. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers. And not that I have faith in Baker Mayfield, because I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan, but I have faith in the running back over there, Mr. White.
Get the fuck up. Colton Biscuit style on you. You thought I was going George Michael.
Oh, I knew where you're going. That's what I went to first. That's why I went George Michaels. But yeah, I'm going to take the Bucs, and since there's a pick 'em, obviously the Bucs against the spread because there's no spread. I'm going to take the under because I think it's going to be a lackluster game. I don't think the Jaguars defense can do absolutely anything. They're banged up and they haven't looked good when they're healthy. And the Bucs defense is a little better. Not saying by much, but they're better. And the best unit, the best player on both these teams is the running back from the Buccaneers.
Ooh. Surprised you actually give it to him over like a Mike Evans or something like that.
Listen, the corners on Jacksonville will cover better. Evans is fantastic. I'm not taking anything away from him. Jaguars have not been good against the run, and Mr. White should have a good day.
I'm going to give you a different person as the best player on the field. Actually, I'm going to give you Antoine Winfield Jr., the free safety for the Bucs, who has literally got the highest PFF rating of any player in the entire NFL so far the second half of the year. He's been that good. But
you also live in the area, so you see that way more than I do.
I do. I have friends of mine that do this. What we do for Bucs, so I kind of know this stuff like that too as well for that reason. But honestly, I can't still get on the Bucs bandwagon. I can't.
I'm not on the wagon at all.
I think at some point, Trevor Lawrence gets healthy enough that he's serviceable. I'm not saying he's going to go from being crap to really good, but even if he's 80%, that offense is a whole lot better than the offense for the Bucs. And I think that's enough for them to win this game. And I think there's something to be said when getting towards the end of the season, you really want to get in the playoffs and you're kind of, this close to getting out of the race because of it. I think this is one of those scenarios. He knows that the Texans don't have a quarterback anymore. He knows that the Texans and the Jags have allowed the Colts to get back into the conversation of who's going to win the division. So yeah, I think he's going to be just good enough for them to win. And if there was an over/under, I probably would pick the Bucs, because I think it's going to be that close of a game. But since it's the even spread, I'll go ahead and pick the Jags, obviously, for both, and I'll pick the under on the points.
At least we agree on that part. But listen, both could be said about both those teams because both of them are fighting for a playoff spot.
Playoffs.
But the Jags are in there. Bucs are in there.
I had a mini burp there all of a sudden and got like a little bit of durian coming back.
Especially you should have some more durian.
No, I'm good. Oh my god, it's bad.
Let's go to the
Oh my
4:30
God.
games. You got the
425 games.
sorry, 5 minutes off. Story of our life. Starting the show. Heyo. Drew's always late.
Oh yeah, I'm the one who's always late.
Yeah. The Cardinals are going into
Yeah.
Chicago playing the
You can't even
Bears.
say it with a straight face. You can't even. Who's the one who calls them up? Hey, it's 8:00. Where are you?
I think I was the last one that did that.
I'm just signing in now. I'll be there in 10 minutes.
I'm pretty sure I was the last one to call you, and you're like, "Oh, I was on the couch sleeping."
I did fall asleep one time, yes, as did you the next episode after that. But on a regular basis, it's me calling you up saying, "Where are you?" It's 8:02. It's 8:03. Yeah.
That's usually like 7:58. Where are you?
No, I look at my phone first and I make sure it's the appropriate time because, listen, Coughlin rules. If you're not 5 minutes early, you're late, damn it.
Exactly 7:58. Anyway,
That's
you got the
2
Cardinals.
minutes early. That means you're already 3 minutes late.
Cardinals are going into Chicago playing the Bears.
The Bears.
The Cardinals are +4.
Bears.
The over-under is 44.5. How you feeling about this game, Mr. Drew?
As a Giant fan, I'm feeling very good because the Bears, I think, are going to win. They're going to cover the spread, and they're going to be over on the points. But the big thing is that when they go ahead and win, and the Giants do what we think they're going to do later on, that means that we will be able to leapfrog the Bears for the draft positioning. That's a big thing right now. As a Giant fan, you got to look at who's ahead of you and say, okay, I want this person, and then this person to win. That's what it boils down to, because that's where we're at, guys. So if you are watching the Commanders, the Cardinals, the Bears, these are teams, the Patriots, you want these teams to start winning. I mean, no matter what, we can't get better than second overall. We've already got to where the Panthers can't have a worse record than us, because even if they hypothetically right now won every game the rest of the way, they'll still be at 5 wins, which is where we're already at, and we'll probably have a stronger schedule than them. But yeah, again, that's where you're at. If you're ahead of us, you're Chicago, you're the Commanders, you're the Cardinals, you're the Patriots. I want you winning every single goddamn week right now. So I can't pick the Cardinals and the Bears to win. Actually, if the Bears and Cardinals tied, that'd be nice. Ooh, that'd be nice. I didn't think about that just now. We'd leapfrog them both for that.
It'd be impressive.
That'd be nice. Nice.
I do agree. The Bears do win. They are the better team. The Cardinals, fairy tale. Their pumpkin has, their carriage has turned back to a pumpkin because it's midnight. Their last win might be a win against the Eagles. Possibly. We'll see when that happens. But I'm taking the under in this because both these teams, they're either hot or they're not, but both these defenses have been playing well. So I'm going to take the under as a safe bet with this game. Up next 425 game. You got the Cowboys going into Miami.
You know, I looked at what the Cardinals put up last week against the Niners. That's part of my.
All right, a divisional game, and they it looked like a cat playing with its food.
I know, I'm just saying.
Like, I hear you.
That was.
They also put 20. They also. I mean, they also beat the Cowboys, but there's also plenty of games where they put up less than 10. 7.
I know. I'm just saying. It's part of my thought process.
I got you. I feel you. But up next, you got the Cowboys going. Up next, you got the Cowboys playing the Dolphins in Miami.
The dreaded Dolphins.
That's right. You know what? A Cowboy would just take a 6-shooter and shoot the Dolphin. It's in the water.
Or a cowboy that usually is out west near the desert and I'll be nowhere near a dolphin.
Touche. Or we put a saddle on the Dolphin and ride it. Either way, the Cowboys
ride a dolphin now. I want to ride a dolphin now.
Right?
I never thought about that. That'd be hilarious.
With a saddle.
So where would you put the Seattle? The
behind
saddle,
the dorsal fin.
It's okay. I say it's got the fin there.
it would have to go behind the dorsal fin because
Yeah.
the side fins a little higher than closer to the head of the dorsal fin. Anyway, let's stop talking semantics about a
As
dolphin.
we go over the anatomy of a dolphin here.
Yeah, Cowboys are plus 1.5 points, and the over under is 51 points in this game. Wow, the highest over under of the week, and I'm going to take the over in this game right away because
I'm with you.
I can't not take that. I'm also very conflicted with a lot of this, but I'm taking the Dolphins to win this game.
I'm taking
them to cover. And the reason why is because both these teams have played fantastic at home and terrible on the road.
There you go.
Dolphins are at home, and the Cowboys, all their losses are on the road. Dolphins have not beat a team that's better than 500 on this year. You're meeting a movable object and a flimsy train. Something's going to give here, and I'm going to give it to the Dolphins.
Yes, I'm with you. I think 100%. It's just a matter of who was playing at home this week, who had picks. So, Dolphins, and over.
Look at that. Kudos. All right. Sunday night.
Sunday night.
You got those amazing Patriots. Fantastic on here.
Ooh.
Going into the Mile High, playing the Broncos. The Patriots are plus 6.5 points, and the over-under is a whopping 34.5 points. Drew?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of conflicted on this one here because I got the Broncos to win. My where I got conflicted, and it looks like you picked the same, I see here, even though this is the spread pick here, because I just have trouble looking past what the Broncos did at the beginning of this year. And I think they're the better team than the Patriots, but are they good enough to beat them by 6.5 points? Because a lot of their wins have been close wins. It's not like they've been tearing teams apart. But then I go, okay, well, it's the Patriots that they can't score a goddamn point for their life.
Unless they're playing the Steelers.
So that's where my over, my back and forth go there at that point there. But I'm going to go with the Patriots to cover the spread. I am going to go over on the points as well, which I think may be a mistake in the end, but just something tells me that Bailey Zappi is going to be the one to come in, get some points in this offense here, and get enough going to go ahead and do like a 24-13 kind of game at that point. Nothing crazy on their end, but just enough to get over 34.5 points, because that's not a very high over-under, and for obvious reasons.
It's not. I mean, I agree with you with the win in the spread, but I took the under because I think it's going to be more defensive game. And if it's over, I hope it's because of Russell Wilson putting up some numbers because, hey, fantasy playoff time.
Hey.
Fantasy playoff. Let's talk about the fourth day of football.
So this is Christmas.
Yeah. On the fourth day of football, Roger Goodell gave to me.
Played some football.
He gave me the Raiders going into the Chiefs. You got the Raiders going into the Chiefs. The Raiders are plus 10 points.
I gotta say, like, you ever get or somebody gave you two really crappy gifts, then you got the third gift, and it's like, oh, this is a really cool one. Like, that's what I feel like is going on with this schedule of Christmas games.
Yeah.
Like two really shitty games followed by one that's really, really good.
It's like you got Sega CD. You got that
Sega.
You got the Sewer Shark game. You got a pinball game.
A Sewer Shark. That's what durian kind of tasted like.
Although I did like that game, but it was a terrible game. And then you got another
Sonic.
console. Yes. You got Sonic. You got Sonic and Knuckles.
What was that one game that they had on Sega CD when it first came out? And it was like a big issue because it was like you were burglarizing a house and there was like inappropriate things going on, and people were saying this was like not good to do because of kids and all.
Grand Theft Auto?
No, like this was like I'm gonna look up. This is where my search history gets interesting. Inappropriate game, Sega CD. My search history just goes crazy. Night Trap. Night Trap. That was the name of it. So this was 1993 when it came out, and it eventually became banned for gratuitous violence and promoted sexual aggression against women, according to why they banned it.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. I won't say certain terminology because it'll get us ticked off things, but there was things in that game that were not cool. So
yeah, gotcha.
All righty.
But what are you feeling about this game?
Yeah, I think easy Chiefs under, because I just don't think the Raiders will score enough against a very good defense. 10 points again. It's a huge spread, and I hate to do it, but I'm kind of breaking my own rule with these huge spreads this week because I do think the Chiefs will cover this one. Same as I thought that the Chargers would not cover the 12 points there. Same as I got one more that we're going to get to next that I think was going to be another big spread that'll happen. So, yeah, Chiefs under.
I want to take the Chiefs, the Raiders, and the under. You got a divisional game coming up here. It's a exciting game there. You got a new coach over there that's been playing well for the Raiders, and they've been rallying around. So
rallying around the family.
And the Chiefs' offense has looked good as they have in recent past. So I'm taking the Chiefs to win. I'm taking the Raiders to cover it, and I'm taking the over in the points. So talk about our game real fast.
Yeah. I have one question, though. What's the over-under on Kadarius Toney making ass of himself for the third week in a row?
Oh, there's a big point. There's a big. Yeah. But we got the Giants going into Philly. The Giants are plus 11.5. And the over-under is 42.5 points. Guys, if you want to hear our thoughts about this, you got to listen to tomorrow night's game. I'm taking the Eagles to win. I'm taking the Giants to cover, and I'm taking the over in the points.
I'm doing Eagles under because I think I think we'll not score enough points to go anywhere near that.
Yeah.
We're going to get destroyed.
All right, final game of the week, Christmas night, the best football game could be
Roger Goodell's Merry Christmas to all of us.
This could be the Super Bowl game, and it's the last game.
This could be. Seriously, this is a Super Bowl preview potential here. Yeah,
you got the Ravens going into San Francisco. The Ravens are plus 5.5, and the over-under is 46.5 points. Drew, you get first cracks at this game. What do you think?
Oh, we know my thoughts on the Niners. I think they are the best team in all of the NFL right now. So I got to pick them to win. I do think the Ravens are very good, though, as well. So I'm going to pick them to cover the spread because I think it'll be a very close, tight-knit kind of game. Two teams that are very built similarly at that point with, built around a running game, a quarterback that some people question their abilities through the air, strong defenses. I mean, all this stuff here. I mean, couple good receivers on both sides, Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel, OBJ and Zay Flowers. I mean, these teams are just so similar. It's not even funny. I just wish Mark Andrews was in there. It's going to say Mark Andrews versus George Kittle on top of that, but obviously he's still out because he's out for the year. Yeah, it's going to be that close of a game. So 49ers, Ravens cover the spread, though. At least I got the over on the points.
I agree with you 100%. I went with this. And I have to say, if you're going to bet this game, wait till Christmas morning, mid-Christmas, before you start drinking too much wine to bet this game because a lot could change in this game. A lot could change in this game. You got Brock Purdy, CMC, Deebo Samuel, which they'd be taken back, Lamar Jackson, and then Deebo Sanders. All four of those guys are in the talks of possibly in the contentions of being an MVP player.
Sorry, I'm like burping up during in here still.
Sounds nasty. Wonderful.
It's nasty.
So this is going to be a fantastic game. This is going to, I guess, give you a little insight of what the Super Bowl could look like because you got the Ravens, who are the best in the AFC right now, who put a shellacking on NFC teams. you got the Niners have been putting a shellac on everyone, especially when they're home.
Oh yeah,
and healthy, which they are. Both teams are pretty good on defense. They both kind of like offensive meant to beat each other. The only thing is, like you said, I wish that the Ravens were fully healthy for a better game.
Oh yeah. Listen, Mark Andrews is the best receiver they have in that team still. So having him in there changes everything up there. So, all right.
Yeah.
Let's get into. We got a couple comments to go through here real quick. Nothing too much here, and then we got to go on to end the show here because it's been almost an hour and a half, guys. Woo.
Yeah, we're up past it.
Rob, your dad says howdy.
Howdy, Ed.
Howdy.
Howdy.
And we have Dakota popped in, our resident Eagle fan that pops in all the time.
So
he's already said that he's got to go before we got to this, but he might enjoy next week. Next episode as we do the preview of the Giants-Eagles game.
He's been pretty quiet the past 3 weeks.
He has been for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Then he said, "What's everyone's favorite cereal?" I think he's asked that before. I got Honey Bunches of Oats. I don't know why. I just love Honey Bunches of Oats.
That's a good question. I don't know. I've had cereal in forever. I guess I'm going to go with Cinnamon Toast Crunch because that's the first one that comes to my head.
There we go. Okay.
All the sugar.
And then Dakota says only one, which I assume he means only one ring that the Eagles have in their whole entire history. Oh, no, here you go. There's Connor and him are going back and forth a little bit. He says, got to go. And then Dakota says something else, kind of something back inappropriate to him. So we're going to keep that part of it out of there. All right, guys. So appreciate you guys for listening in today. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. As I said, tomorrow we are back with a preview episode of the Giants versus the Eagles. Now, usually we do more of like, this is what the Giants should do on offense. This is what they should do on defense kind of episode. We're going to do things a little bit different to this one here. So we're going to go over, because let's be honest, we already talked about this. The Eagles are going to probably beat us. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion by most people, including me. I don't want to speak for Rob, but definitely for me. I'd be entirely shocked if we won.
I'll be excited.
So because of that, we're going to do more of a... Yeah. Well, I'm making it sound very like, not like this is like, I was a little undetermined on this one. No, we're going to lose.
Yeah.
But what I want to do is kind of go over for you guys what went wrong the last couple weeks for the Eagles and kind of what's gone wrong this whole season for them. Because honestly, I think their win-loss total is a little inflated with some luck and some help in the referees. So it's a good show until Spacey got in trouble.
Kelsey's about to get in trouble.
Also, Giants news related. Kate Mara was in that. Keep in mind, Kate Mara, the daughter of John Mara, the actress that most people don't even realize is the daughter of John Mara, also the daughter of obviously John Mara's wife, who is a Rooney. So she's literally half Giants, half Steelers. I think that's how it biologically works.
I think so. So she's a Giant Steeler.
We're claiming her because of the last name. But yeah, so like I said, we're going to go over with you guys all what's going on with the Eagles here. Give you guys a lot of info on what's going wrong for them all year long, some really bad stats. And how do I know that? Because we already recorded the episode, because we had to record a little early because tomorrow night is my wife's birthday. So we're going to do things a little different there and have a pre-recorded episode for that one there. So I'm sure Rob will be popping in the comments section. I may pop in every now and again during it there. So still feel free to comment away because we'll be there. As always, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter /X, Twitch. I always want to say Twix for some reason still. It's the left side, the right side. I don't know.
Let's say which side are you?
And then of course, now again, we are live on Instagram here. So hope you guys are enjoying that. Those are Instagram. I know we had a couple people pop in on this one, I can see. So that's always good. And of course, we're always on Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn. Oh, yes, my LinkedIn profile. And of course, the next day we're available on every audio podcast platform, pretty much known to man. We're on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, all the fun ones there. I'm going to ask this, though. If anybody's listening to us on Apple Podcast, or if anybody goes on Apple Podcast on a regular basis, do me a favor. Leave a review. Give us a 5-star, leave us a review. I don't ask that often to people, because I know it's asking a lot. We already asked you guys to like, subscribe, all that kind of fun stuff here. But do us a favor. because that goes a big way towards helping us there. And I would say 60% of our downloads on the audio comes off of Apple Podcasts, though. So, we're definitely growing on there. We actually got the year-end review where we were told by our hosting company that we get more downloads than more than half the podcast out there. So, considering this just finalize our first complete year, since 22 was only a partial year for us, we had like 4 months. This was the end of our first complete year of podcasting. So, always glad to see that we beat most people out there with just our first year of doing it. So, again, appreciate you guys for listening and watching and for sharing. Without you guys, this show is absolutely nothing. It's just me and Rob talking to each other and nobody actually listening. So much appreciated, guys. As always, Giant fans,
Go G-Man!
Go G-Man! Go G-Man! And don't eat durian because it tastes really bad.
Your house was funny.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support. If you made it this long, you must have enjoyed it. So I am sure you have followed us on all the social media platforms. Of course, you have subscribed to the show on your favorite app as well and given us a top rating. Right? Right? Right?
Thank you to those who have signed up for our silver gold levels of membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.